All right, guys, I'm just going to go over the first 5 questions from the review in this video. And the idea of this is you can kind of jump around. You go to the questions that you need. So feel free to fast forward if you don't need the first 2. But for all these questions on the first 5, the first step is to distribute if possible. The second step is to combine like terms. There might be a third step in here to get rid of fractions. Okay, or actually I might do that right there after we distribute, get rid of fractions. Combine like terms. Then get the variables on the same side. And then the last one is to isolate x. Now, for our first example, there's nothing to distribute. There's no like terms that are on the same side. We don't have variables on both sides. All we have to do is get x by itself. The way we do that is anytime we cross the equal sign, we do the opposite. So we always start with addition or subtraction. So we're going to add 14 to both sides. That's going to cause those to cancel. 8 plus 14 is 22, which is still equal to 2x. The last thing we have to do to get x by itself here is get rid of that times 2. So because we're going to cross the equals, we have to do the opposite. The opposite of multiplying by 2 is dividing both sides by 2. That makes those cancel, and then 22 divided by 2 is 11. So x is 11. That's our answer to the first question. The second question here, I see parentheses, so our first step is going to be to distribute here. All right, so if we distribute that negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times negative 8 is positive 32. All right, everything else we just bring down right here. The second step is to combine like terms that are already on the same side. All right, so on the same side of the equals, let's see, we have these two are like terms. Now, we're not going to do the opposite operation here. We're not crossing the equals. We just add these two. So we're going to add negative 4x and 2x. That's going to give us negative 2x. Everything else, again, we bring it down. So plus 32 equals 38 minus x. Next, we're going to get the variables on the same side. So we have a variable on both sides. So we have to move one of these. I could either move the negative 2x or the negative x. But I'm going to move this one and make it a little bit easier because it's going to make this number positive over here. Right? So to cross the equals, we have to do the opposite. The opposite of subtracting 2x is adding 2x here to both sides. Okay, these cancel. Everything else gets brought down here. Okay, so I bring down the 32, I bring down the 38. Negative x plus 2x is just plus x or plus 1x. Okay, the last thing is to get x by itself. All we have to do is move that 38 by subtraction. So we subtract 38 from both sides. All right, this gives us negative 6 is equal to x, and that is our answer right there. All right, next question. There's nothing to distribute, so we're good there. But we do have 2 like terms that need to be combined. They're on the same side. Okay, so we're going to add 2x and negative 3x. And again, we're not crossing the equal sign, so I'm not adding this over. It's just 2x minus 3x. That gives us negative 1x. Everything else, we just bring it down. There's only one variable, so it's on the correct side. But now we have to isolate x. And so we got to move over that negative and that 1. I'm going to start with the 1. Opposite of adding is subtracting. So we get negative x is equal to, this adds to negative 8 here. And then our last step is to divide both sides by that negative. So if we divide both sides by negative 1, those cancel. The negatives cancel over here as well. 8 divided by 1 is just positive 8. All right, that's number 3. Number 4, there's nothing to distribute. There's no like terms that are on the same side. This has an x, this doesn't. But if we go to get the variables on the same side, so we're going to cross the equals by doing the opposite. So I add 2x to both, but they both cancel. So x is just gone from the problem. Whenever that happens, look at what's left over. If it's a true statement, it would be all real numbers or all infinite solutions. But if it's a false statement, this is not true, then it's no solutions. That's number 4. Number 5 is a little tricky. We got fractions, and so we have to add in a step. I'm going to add in a step right here in between distributing and combining of multiplying by the least common multiple of the denominator, or the least common denominator is what I'll call it. All right, so we're going to distribute 1/2 here. So off to the side, if you're not remembering how to multiply with fractions, we're going to just do 1/2 times 6. Well, 6 is being divided by 1. So if we multiply the top, that's how we multiply fractions. Multiply the 1 with the 6, we get 6. Multiply the 2 with the 1, we get 2. And then we simplify here. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. All right, so 1/2 times 6x is 3x. I'm going to go ahead and bring down that minus. But over here now, I want to spend some time and multiply 1/2 with 3/5. Okay, so again, multiply the top, we get 3. Multiply the bottoms, we get 10. So this term right here is a minus 3/10. Then we've got a plus 3/4 equals 2x minus 4. Now, we could get a common denominator and add these together, but the trick that I showed you guys in class is to figure out the least common multiple of our 2 denominators. All right, so we clear out some space over here. So our least common multiple, so let's see, 4, multiples of 4. We got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, and it keeps going. For 10, we have 10. None of those line up. Then we have 20, and those do line up, so we can stop there. Okay, what we can now do is multiply everything by that least common denominator or least common multiple of our denominators. Okay, so multiply both sides here by 20. So now we're going to distribute this. 20 times 3x is 60x. 20 is over 1, so 20 times negative 3/10 would be negative 60/10, which that will simplify. Okay, 20 times 3 is 60, 1 times 10 is 10. Plus 20 times 3 is 60 again, over 1 times 4 is 4. That will also simplify. These should always simplify if we do this step correctly here. Equals, if I distribute 20, we should get 40x minus 80. Now, simplifying 60 divided by 10, that's just 6. So I'm going to replace that with a 6 right there. So we have a minus 6. 60 divided by 4 is 15. So we've got a plus 15. All right, so that was the second step. That's definitely the most difficult part of this problem right here. We've distributed, we've multiplied by the LCD. Now we've got to combine like terms on the same side. So these two are like terms. I'm going to bring everything else down. So we have 60x. Negative 6 plus 15 is plus 9. Equals, bring that down as well. All right, now we need to get the variables on the same side. To do that, if they're both positive, I like to move the one that's smaller, but it's not wrong to move this one. This is a positive 40x. We're going to subtract 40x from both sides here. Now, 60x, I'll go and draw my line here. We cross the equal sign. 60x minus 40x, that gives us 20x plus 9 is equal to negative 80. Okay? All we have left to do at that point is we are going to subtract over that 9 and then divide by 20. So subtracting 9 on both sides, we're going to get 20x equals negative 89. All right, then we're going to divide by 20. And x is going to equal negative 89 over 20. I don't believe that simplifies at all. This should be our answer right here. Okay? All right, so that's it for the first 5. I should hopefully get time later today or tomorrow to post the rest of the solutions here. But hopefully this helped. You can watch this more than once. If you really struggle on the first 4, I would focus on that more than focusing on number 5. Number 5 is a little tough if you're struggling on the first 4. So start with the first 4, and maybe we save this for tutoring at some point. All right, that is it, guys. Stay flawless.